Hi everyone and welcome back to Grade 12 Math with Mr. Simons. This lesson we're looking at arithmetic sequences and series, and we're looking specifically at the past exam papers of November 2016 and November 2013. Right, so let's look at the questions and say solutions. So given the finite arithmetic sequence 5, 1, negative 3, continuing into minus 83 and ending at minus 87, write down the fourth term of the sequence. So A is 5, D 1 minus 5 gives me negative 4, minus 3 minus 1 would give me negative 4, so minus 3 minus 4 would then give me minus 7. So 1 mark for minus 7. 2.2, calculate the number of terms in the sequence. So now we're looking at the last term being negative 87. So Tn there is negative 87. A was 5. D was negative 4, but we want n. So if I take 5 over, minus 87 minus 5 gives me minus 92. Minus 4 times n gives me negative 4n. Negative 4 times negative 1 gives me plus 4. If I take plus 4 over, minus 92 minus 4 would give me minus 96 and minus 4n. Minus 96 divided by negative 4, n equal 24. So 1 mark for negative 87, 1 for correct substitution of A and D, and 1 mark for n being 24. Right, so let's look at the next question. Right, now 2.3, calculate the sum of all the negative numbers in the sequence. So we take out all the positive numbers. The new sequence starts with minus 3, minus 7, and goes to negative 87. Right, so in theory we had 24 terms, but if we take out the two positives, minus the 2 terms would give me now 22 terms I'm working with. A is still negative, A is now minus 3, and D, minus 7 minus minus 3 is still negative 4. So in the place of A, if I substitute negative 3, place of D, negative 4. Alright, so 1 mark for 22, 1 mark for A and D. Gives me negative 90. Right, and then we have 2.4, the last question of November 2016. We will always try to catch you out with the last question. So consider the sequence 5, 1, negative 3, going all the way to negative 4187. Right? Determine the number of terms in this sequence that will be exactly divisible by 5. Right, so we have to find all the terms that would divide by 5. So I know 5 divides by 5. So if the value has a 0 at the end of 5, it should divide by 5. So if I continue there, 1 minus 5 was negative 4. So 5 minus 4, 1. Minus 4 minus 3 minus 4 gives me minus 7. Minus 4 gives me minus 11. Minus 4 gives me negative 15. So my next term that divides by 5 is negative 15, and if I continue subtracting negative 4, I get the next one to be at negative 35. So for the front, I have 5, negative 15, minus 35. For the last term, as you can see, 7, done dividing 5. But if I add 4 now, going in the reverse order, plus 4 would give me 4173. Plus 4 would give me 4179. Plus 4 would give me minus 4175. That term ends with a 5, therefore it's divisible by 5. So my new sequence, 5, negative 15, minus 35, minus 4175. So A is 5 for D, term 2 minus term 1. So minus 15 minus 5 would give me negative 20. Tn, my last term, is minus 4175. We want number of terms, we want n. So there in the Tn formula, Tn is minus 4175, A is 5, D is negative 20, but we want n. So if I take 5 over, minus 4175 minus 5 gives me minus 4180. Minus 20 times n would give me minus 20n. Negative 20 times negative 1 would give me positive 20. Take positive 20 over, that would give me negative 4,200 divided by the negative 20, and n is 210. So we have 210 terms from 5 to minus 4187. that is divisible by 5. Right? Let's look at the next exam question. Now, November 2013. Given again, they say arithmetic sequence, so it has a second difference, -3, 1, 5, and 3, 9, 3. Determine a formula for the end term of the sequence. So A is -3, D is 1 minus -3, which then gives me 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. A being -3, D being 4, so 1 mark for correct substitution. 4 times n would give me 4n, 4 times -1, -4. Right, so there, -4 minus 3 would then give me -7. So my formula Tn 4n minus 7, 1 for substitution, 1 for answer. Right, they say write down the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th terms of the sequence. Right, so there, as you can see, -3 plus 4 gives me 1, 1 plus 4 gives me 5, 5 plus 4 would give me 9, 9 plus 4, 13, 13 plus 4, 17, and 17 plus 4, 21. If you want to, you can go right. That's term 1, 2, and 3. So term 4 is 9, term 5, 13, term 6, 17, and term 7, 21. So 2 marks just for finding that. Right, now let's look at the next question. Right, now they say write down the remainders when each of the first 7 terms of the sequence is divided by 3. So my first 7 terms was -3, 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, 21. So if I divide them all by 3, 3 goes in -3 once, leaving no remainder. 3 can't go in 1, so the remainder there is 1. 3 goes in 5 once, leaving 5 minus 3, remainder 2 behind. 9 divides perfectly in 3, leaving no remainder. 13 divided by 3, 3 goes in 13 4 times, which is 12. 13 minus 12 gives me a remainder of 1. 3 goes in 17 5 times, 3 times 5 is 15. 17 minus 5 is a remainder of 2, and 21 divides in 3 with no remainder. So there, write down the remainders, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0. Right, now they say calculate the sum of the terms in the arithmetic sequence that are divisible by 3. Right? So in the original sequence we had -3, 1, 5, 3, 9, 6. New sequence there, they've assisted us. We know -3, 9 and 21 divides exactly in 3. And the last term, if you look at it, 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 9 is 15. So 15 can divide in 3, therefore the end term can divide in 3. So A equal -3, D, 9 minus -3, which gives me 12, and Tn equal 393. So A is -3, T is 12, and Tn 393. So 1 mark for 393, another mark for -3 and 12. 12 times n, 12n, times 12 times -1, -12. So if I take -3 over 393 plus 3 gives me 396. If I take -12 over plus 12, 396 plus 12 gives me 408. So 12n, 408 divided by 12 then gives me 34. So n equal 34. Right, so we want the sum of the terms, so we want the sum of 34 terms. So Sn equal n over 2, 2a plus n minus 1 times d. A being -3, d being 12. 34 minus 1, 34 divided by 2, and if we simplify, 6,630. So 1 mark for correct substitution, 1 mark for final answer. Right, so hope you follow, you understand so far. You can pause here if you need a little breather and so on. We've been at it now for 9 minutes. Right, and then we continue to the next one. So I'm going to the next exam question. November 2013. So given 0 minus half, 0, half, 0, 3 over 2, 0. So every second term, as you can see, there's 0. Assume that this number pattern continues consistently. Write down the value of the 191st term of the sequence for 1 mark. So 191 is an odd number, so term 1, term 3, term 5 are all odd. So the odd terms are all equal to 0. So term 191 equals 0, 1 mark. 2.3.2, determine the sum of the first 500 terms of the sequence for 4 marks. So we have a sequence that's 0, 0, 0. Then we have a sequence that's minus half, half, 3 over 2, 5 over 2, and 7 over 2. So there are 250 zeros. Take note, 500 is 2 sequences. Ne? So 500 divided by 2, I'm looking for the sum of 250 for each sequence. 250 zeros still add up to 0. Yeah, for the second series, my A value or first term is negative half. T half minus half will give me 1, so T is 1. So yeah, Sn equal n over 2, sum to 250. 250 divided by 2, A being negative half, 2 times negative half. 250 minus 1 times 1 gives me 31,000. So 1 mark for correct substitution, 1 mark for answer. Sum to 500, 0 plus 31,000, 1 mark, and my final answer, 31,000. So if you enjoyed the lesson, please like and subscribe. Right? Continue practicing. Wish you nothing but the best. See you in the next slide. Right? God bless. Bye.